Okay.
In the meantime, please rate and subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcast player and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Okay, I am going to bring, like, I'm going to actually have it
Could
put
you?
on a bristle board.
Could you? Because I
and we're going to put it
cannot,
up.
for the life of me, I cannot get it.
Yeah.
In the meantime, please rate and subscribe on. I see, and I'm trying so hard to read it properly that I sound
You know
like
what's
I'm
really
lacking
funny?
shit.
I'm putting this at the front of the show.
Are you right now? This whole
For the
I
next
can't do
recording,
it.
I'm making you I'm going to make you
I will
bristle
do it.
board.
I have to do it.
Oh my God! I have a teleprompting app. I'm not setting up a teleprompter so that you.
I need big
I'm
words
gonna
though.
do
I need them big. 'cause my
Somewhere
sight's so
I have
crappy.
those Post-it notes, the big ones that you just put on the wall.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to do one of those for you.
We're having a
you?
serious discussion because
Yeah.
of our day drinking
Yeah.
on the patio. It's not a very sunny day, but we have a
little
full
chilly.
rain. Welcome to Flying for Flavor. Sorry, we're
Cheers.
my paper straw is getting a little soggy. We're I know. I'm trying to be environmentally conscious.
It's the rimmer.
Stop
It's
it.
the rimmer.
So for those
you
who
every time.
listened or watched last week, we had an episode on Caesars. So yes, we're still drinking Caesars, and we're sitting out on my upper part of my patio.
This is the upper level, the middle level, and the lower level.
Now you're making me really feel like a princess.
You are a princess, but we love you.
I'm not a princess. Okay.
I'm the princess at camping.
You're a
I
princess
was
at
actually
camping.
looking at tent trailers today. I can't afford a tent trailer, but I was actually
We can
looking
rent
at-
one. I think we should rent one. I'm going to see if I can find someone
We'll see.
who'll let me borrow it.
Oh
what
my
my
God!
husband
It's
says.
like this whole like panic attack over like
Yeah.
2 nights. Anyways,
In a tent.
so
I
yes,
can't
we're
do a
drinking
tent.
Caesars. If you need to drink a Caesar and want to learn how to make them, check out last week's episode if you missed it. But we're going to talk about the plastics-free thing that's happening. Partly because I lived surrounded around single-use plastics as a caterer for so
Yeah.
many years,
And with kids, single-use plastics because they lose everything.
yeah,
It's so expensive,
I
right?
used to go and bring a lot of. I remember. I think even in grade school, you think about. Okay, this is where I started thinking about things. All the things that are single-use plastic. So, for those of you in the States or haven't been paying attention to the news elsewhere in the world, including Canada, so Justin Trudeau, of course, we have our election coming up this fall. He has announced that if he is reelected, he is going to implement a plastic-free legislation. So that's basically going to force fines basically on it's going to go out to the manufacturers to take the responsibility of the production side of
Okay.
things and how to dispose of things.
know.
So I have a question about this. I've heard of this. I haven't followed it too closely because when I think about election promises, I'm like, that's not even a thing right now. But like, so is our recycling efforts not working? Is that because that was the whole reason we brought in recycling was for these single-use
I
plastics?
think it's
that
not
have another
enough.
life. Okay.
Yeah.
So in our city, I mean, it's already blown up social media that we're going down to one bag of
I think
garbage.
it's great.
Which I think is
Okay, as a single person compared to a family of 4,
No.
and I've got a friend who's a family of 7.
Absolutely.
Like,
Okay, no, I understand the struggles. I do but having lived in Toronto about 5 years ago, garbage only came once every 2 weeks,
we had garbage once every 2 weeks in Brisbane, but we had
And-
a bigger bin that we could wheel out.
right? But we also had the same size of a bin for green composting.
Yeah,
Our
we did.
composting does not work here in the city because people are not on board.
Well, and those
Everything
bins
from
are so small.
Oh, I know.
and that's well, I have the tall bin. Do you have the tall bin?
I have the tall bin, but
Yeah.
again, like with
Fa-
a family
you need
of
like
4,
8.
like you're a family of 2, you're a family of 1.
Yeah.
We generate, and plus I
proud
got
of it.
everybody else's kids, and we've always got stuff happening at our house. We're making efforts to reduce waste. Don't get me wrong. We're not completely those people that like throw everything out or one-time use or whatever. But I worry about the impact on families. Like it's harder. We're already struggling. Like my husband is making regular trips to the dump because we have more than 2 bags. A lot of times, especially if we're like if it's a season change or things like that where things are getting thrown out and we don't I don't throw out things unless they are gross. We do a lot of donating, a lot of like rehoming and that kind of thing. But
I love that terminology.
rehoming.
Yeah.
But to
Rehoming.
do
I thought you said weed.
to do
homing.
less than 2 bags a week when we're not able to do 2 bags now really worries us as a family.
Well, I mean, that's gonna be a whole other episode. But a lot of it may have to do with when you're buying stuff, like what is in that garbage. So it basically takes
We have a lot of
family
packaging.
meeting. So it takes a lot of family, and that's exactly it. So I was using an example telling Norm. So So I make things from scratch because I'm a bit of a nerd, and the chef in me, that's
You have time, and it's your
I got chicken legs in the slow cooker downstairs. I don't have that much time.
yeah. But I used to do that when I was a full-time mom.
Yeah,
when
so
I
we're
wasn't
just-
like,
I do it
everything
now
was from
even.
scratch.
I
Yeah,
agree,
chicken
it's all
leg
good.
seasoning in the slow cooker. I'll crisp them up later, but I'll do chicken wings that way as opposed to buying the pre-packaged ones,
do
or I'll
that too.
buy whatever. Or, anyways, you think about the whole grocery store process, and it's surprising how many. So all the things that you wrap in plastic bags in the produce section, which don't necessarily need to be. It's one thing. So I have been trying to cut down on those by saying, okay, if I'm going to be peeling this anyways and or washing it, things like peaches and stuff are things that are really soft that I'm concerned about water absorption. Mushrooms, don't wash them. That's why the paper bags are there.
Yeah.
But the other things, I always have to remind myself, do I really need a bag for this? Do I really
Can
need
we
a
not
bag
go
for
back
this?
to paper bags? Are they too expensive?
I'm not sure. And
Because
another
paper bags
yeah.
can be burned in the fireplace. They're biodegradable.
I can
like-
wrap broken glass in them to put in the garbage.
You know, like all
yes.
these things. Like when I
happens
think
all the
about
time.
that, I'm like, I know that a plastic bag is easier to carry. And don't get me wrong, I've got all of the like reusable shopping bags. A lot of times when I go to a store, I'll buy I'll pay $2 for the reusable shopping bag as opposed to getting the plastic one. So again, we do make small efforts. We definitely don't make as many efforts as some families do. So I could see like the grocery store, eliminating stuff at the grocery store. You can use like the mesh bags for your fruit if you really need them. Because like grapes, for example, would be a lot easier than apples. I don't mind doing loose, that kind of thing.
Yep.
You know, you've got things like the green bins that PC stores like Loblaws has.
Yep.
I can get behind the grocery store. Even like we talked about before, I think it was on the show, we used to have these Tupperware freezer containers that I'd go to the butcher and I'd get my meat put in my Tupperware freezer containers and then I'd put them in the freezer when I got home. That I can see. But when I start like branching out further from that, that's where I start going like
The Olive Bar.
Oh.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
Bulk
Yes.
barn is going to have a problem.
Oh yes, yes.
Right?
So a lot of places are going to have a
Right?
problem.
You think like Bulk Barn, as an example, it's an entire company that's based on
single use.
reducing prices based on single use and buying only what you need. So but I guess what they're going to have to do,
they're going to have to sell multi-use
or
containers.
it's going to be whether it's be banned. I can't see how he's going to implement a full ban. It's going to take a long time. So, anyways,
yeah.
even if he does get reelected and this gets implemented, it's not starting until 2021. And I don't think it's going to go into phases where this is going to be banned
It'll
and
have
then
to be
this will be
phases.
banned because they can't do everything. And that's the whole thing, is that all the things that you come in contact with. So think of the deli trays. How many times between Costco, grocery stores, or
The
whatever,
styrofoam ones.
Styrofoam.
party trays, right? Takeout containers. I took takeout last night,
Yeah.
and there were styrofoam that came to the table, and I even commented to the server. I said, "So, what do you think is going to happen when you can't use these anymore?" She just goes, "Oh, I don't know." Anyway, she obviously hasn't given it any
But
thought.
I'm going to argue, as the truck goes by, I'm going to argue that things like those takeout ones, like say, like I'll pick on a restaurant here in town, like Bai Tai Palace. They come in these round black with a clear lid, or your party trays that come. Those don't have to be single use.
No.
I certainly, in our home, my girlfriends in their homes, we wash those out and we use them, like for our kids' lunches, so that we hope they come back. Or even the disposable, not the Ziploc bags, which are to me are one use. I don't think you should reuse those, but the like the containers, like the disposable containers that you can buy. Those aren't meant to be single use. Those are meant to be. You can throw those in the dishwasher and you can use them again, microwave, freezer. So
Top
I
shelf's
think
better.
that. Pardon me.
Sometimes, depending on the plastic, it's always better to put them in the top shelf or the dishwasher.
Yeah, we
That's
put
what's
all of them in the
happening.
top shelf, otherwise they melt or they bend.
And they fall on the bottom, and then they start sticking up the house.
All plastics in the top. All
That's
plastics
what's
in the
the
top.
bottom of my dishwasher. Can never found that lid.
So I think there are, like, I think that if we look at single use versus things that have the opportunity to be multi-use, I think there's a differentiation, and I hope that differentiation will kind of come. Do you know what I mean?
And that's what I was thinking about. So, as an example, so for those of you, I'll put pictures of these in the video. So I just went. This is just my old catering stash of stuff that I had. I don't know why I still have them. So I have these little plastic
I do love
dishes for
these.
catering. So and there's an entire industry of miniature plastic dishes.
At home, I wash
I
those.
love those.
They're cute, eh?
But catering, you
I
can't.
even have little cones in plastic. I've got all kinds of stuff. But again, like what are going to happen?
Party City.
Yeah, all these things.
Thank you.
I ordered mine from Stacy.
You read my
Yeah, so
mind.
you can
Well,
check with me. I got some.
Yeah, we can't order in bulk when
And
we're holding
then
for home.
plastic shot glasses.
Oh, Jello shooters.
But I was thinking about plastic shot glasses. Like, how many times are they using them at, casual bars or whatever, where it's like temporary bars, like at arenas and things like that for events. They don't use like the glass shot glasses because you get broken, lost, or whatever.
Jello
They just use these.
shooters.
Yeah, so the plastic glass and the new little red Solo cups.
Oh my gosh.
Red Solo cups. What's going to happen?
What's
with
going to
Reds?
happen in the camping
So the whole
now?
Solo camping's going to change. The other little plastic wine glasses, right? When you have to go out on the road because you can't.
You know
bring
what's going to happen? It's going to go to paper. The same way with straws, and we were actually, it's so funny because in the last show when we did the Caesars, Steph had these really cute plastic straws out, and they are paper straws out. They are really cute,
Oh, thirst quenching! You got a new one.
but
Mine
they
fell
melt
apart.
in your drink, and you literally can taste wet paper,
Bends.
right?
That's what happens. You can't suck on it anymore.
Like it just
doesn't work.
And I know that they have like these stainless steel, and I've got a ton of reusable ones with all of my like reusable cups that I bought. But they're hard to get clean. Yes, you can use a little
Brush.
And when I was a full-time mom and I had a little bit more time, and I'm not saying full-time moms have a lot of time, just so we're clear, but I'm still a mom with a full-time job and a business. So
Yep.
my time is even less than it was when I
Yep.
was quote unquote just a mom. And I say that with quotes because it's the hardest job I have of the three.
Obviously.
But to look at those disposable straws now, I throw them in the dishwasher and I cross my fingers. And all I can think about is whenever I look at them, it's like I've got to check for mold every time because I worry about like the safety aspect. And again, we're a conscientious family. Not all families are that conscientious, right? And that it's like those little things that I'm like, we really got to think these things through. I think it's a great initiative. I really do. But I think it's going to take some time, like Steph said.
Totally brings up you just said that checking for mold. I remember once I was babysitting. This is, years and years ago. To a family, and I might have been just in university at the time. And the sippy cup comes out for the kid.
Oh yes,
And then
yes.
I actually go to open it and stuff, and there's mold all around the rim. And this is years ago, and it's sort of like, okay, how are you? Like, and I don't know harm. It happens. It happens very innocently. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, if you were too busy, you probably would just go, oh, don't worry about it.
You rinse it and go. You don't even see it.
You don't even think about it.
You don't see it. And that's like those Contigo cups, the big thermal
I'm
cups.
worried about
We get a lot of
those.
those at Costco. You need to worry about them because
I worry about those.
They've got so many mechanisms in this. It's like you push the button to pop it open to drink. And I didn't realize that mechanism comes apart because I was just throwing the top in the dishwasher and the bottom in the dishwasher because they're dishwasher
That's what I do. Should I be ripping them apart?
Pull it apart because I noticed mold
getting
in
dirt
one of my
infections.
drinks or something, and my kids were drinking out of them. And I opened up and I pulled it, and the entire
excuse
top
me.
was full of mold. And so
Edit that.
it's just that awareness. And the thing is, like, yes, for parents, we have to be more aware. We have to pull our sippy cups apart, and even when we're half asleep, we got to scrub them and all those kinds of things. But not all folks are that conscientious, and that's where disposable comes in handy. But again, let's face it, when we were growing up, we didn't have disposable plastic. How much of it we had grocery bags, but we had a lot of paper bags. Grocery bag.
paper
I had
bags.
grocery bags growing up, but I remember paper bags.
Yep.
And we had paper cups for everything. It was paper or styrofoam. They got rid of the styrofoam, but it's
I used to like pop soft drinks when I was a kid.
In
I
the
preferred
bottles.
No, it's styrofoam.
pop
For
and styrofoam.
some reason, like
You
we
mean
go to
styrofoam cup?
kids' birthday
Yeah.
parties, they would always put the pop in the styrofoam, and for some reason, it always tasted better for me
Interesting.
in the styrofoam. I don't know what
Interesting.
it was a very weird thing.
Interesting. And I was thinking earlier, we were talking about like the whole process of plastic free. Something that was different down south than it is here. And we're in Northern Ontario, so depending on where you're from, you're listening. The recycling program in different cities is very different. The number in the triangle is recyclable in some areas. So to be on board federally, right word? Federally, they really need to fine-tune the municipality recycling programs to be all on the same level where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6s and 7 and 8s and 9s can be recycled in Northern Ontario as it is in Southern Ontario, like Toronto and Windsor. Because the reality is that half the stuff that is recyclable in Southern Ontario is not
We get those
acceptable
notes in
in
our blue
Northern
box.
Ontario.
This is not recyclable.
This is not.
It's
This
like,
is
oh my
not
God.
recyclable. And let's
I'm
get
tired of
real.
getting those notes from the.
Let's get real. The one thing they need to start recycling is Tim Horton cups.
Right?
They always get rejected, and I not that I'm a big drinker, but I used to be of Tim
Are they
Hortons.
compostable?
I thought they were compostable.
I don't know.
But
again, you see?
I don't green. I don't
we
green
need.
bin.
Okay,
see what I'm saying now?
I'm going to post a link
Yeah.
to our 311, the Sudbury site, which basically shows what goes where,
Yeah.
and that's for our city. So it'll give you an idea of what to look for as a basic thing for your own city or municipality or wherever you're listening or watching from. But it's one of those things that, for me, has to do with what can break down, and even the plastics and recyclables, unless you're pretty much washing them out, you have to take the time to do that.
Yes.
Right? Things that come in contact with food, you're supposed to put them in the garbage.
Yep.
So even plastic bags. So as an example, my takeout stuff that I had, besides the fact that it was in a styrofoam container, I had laid it flat on its side inside of a bag with a couple of other things coming here today. Go to put it in and I didn't realize carrying it from the car. I forgot it was in there. No, I lift it this way.
And leaked.
and it leaked on the bottom. So now I have that plastic grocery bag where I tend to reuse mine. We have a little section.
Everybody
in the
does.
laundry room, right? It's the bag of bags.
Like you open the door and the whole thing all falls out in front of your floor.
Correct. And I only use those bags. They're usually to wrap things in that I want to protect something else in really quickly, as opposed to using Ziploc bags and other things. I use reuse grocery bags for that. But I'm not even using them for grocery shopping anymore. Right? Because I'm bringing all my other bags with me. I've got bags upon bags, and it sounds awful, but my favorite bags for grocery shopping right now are my IKEA bags.
The big blue ones?
The blue ones. They
Oh,
come
yeah.
in 2 different
Interesting.
sizes.
They're beautiful. It's like the Costco ones.
Because when I'm unloading from the car, it's in one.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
big
So
one.
I'll bring one
we had
cooler
the big,
bag this time of year.
I don't know if Costco still
Yes.
has them, the rectangular
Yes.
ones.
Yep.
I'll shout out to my girlfriend who's a Jen Whitty, who's a 31 bag home seller, and she's amazing. But we've got a lot of 31 bags that we use for a lot of things as well. But even that, like we've done again with having kids in school, we've done the reusable sandwich bags that you wash them. But I panic. Like I scrub the shit out of them, and I'm just like, are they clean enough? Like, are they disinfected enough? And that's where I'll reach for that Ziploc every time because of that.
I do too.
My mother taught me.
We used wax paper when we were growing up. Remember, wax paper was wrapped in our sandwiches were wrapped in them.
And I still have that. And wax paper is good for wrapping up cheese as well.
Yes.
So my mother's rule had to do with you can reuse a Ziploc bag and wash it out and stuff. It was something that was dry that was in it.
Yeah.
If it was meat or something like that, you had to
Correct.
get rid of
So
it.
it would be like if she had extra dinner rolls that were left over that she'd put in that bag, or it was just a sandwich.
Yeah, I'll reuse stuff like that. Chips, if I put leftover chips in one, I'll reuse it.
that kind of thing. And she would just turn it inside out, wash it like she would normally do, and then she would set it over top of something to air dry.
Oh, there you go.
So
I'll start
I've
doing
just
that.
always learned to do, especially when I used to buy the extra large ones.
Me too.
Right? Because those fit at Christmas time, the only time of year I make my thin bun. The loaves are always so damn big, they don't fit in the smaller ones. And I usually make a bunch and I throw them in the freezer, so I use the extra large freezer bags.
Perfect.
Freezing's going to
I
be
wonder
fun.
if that's the fin, because my great aunt actually, who used to watch us a lot when we were growing up, she used to wash her milk bags, like
used to cut the top
plastic
of them.
milk bags and the inner and the outer, and would use them for all kinds of things, and still washes all that kind of stuff now.
Yeah, I think it was just a generation more than anything else. It was they learned to reuse things whenever possible, save money whenever possible.
It was the recession.
And we just got so used to this high consumer lifestyle that we're just throwing everything away.
It's funny too, because I remember my grandmother, we used to go to her place and she had clothesline outside. I mean, some people still do. I love clotheslines, but she would have like 10 or 15 of the milk bags inside out hanging on
the clothesline
to dry, right? And it's sort of like she went through the Depression, and it's sort of like you kind of learn like those different things. Like the trays that you get certain cheeses in and stuff now, if you wash them really clean, you can use them as a serving plate for something else on your table.
I do that stuff.
Yeah, it's just things like that.
Well, those pretty cazuelas, which are those little brown dishes that you were admiring in my kitchen.
Yes.
So it's very hard to find those in Canada without paying like $10 a piece. For the ceramic ones, but surprisingly, there's a couple of PC products in the freezer section.
Yes.
They're little shrimp and scallop gratins
Yes.
that come in those dishes. So for like a week and a half, I'm like, I need about 6 or 8 of these to complete a set, so I just kept buying them.
I need to go back to Costco. Did I send you the ones that I bought at Costco? Oh my God, they're about this big and about that high. They probably hold maybe 4 ounces. And they came and they were like mini puddings. There was like a vanilla pudding, almost like a creme brulee kind of thing, but without being fired. And it was 4 different varieties. There were 12 in a pack. and it came with all the puddings. It was $10.99 for the pack, and these dishes were fully, they were ceramic dishes.
Yes.
And they even had these little, like the plastic was meant to be thrown away, but I could wash it like I'd wash those. And I got to go back and get a few more of those because they are great for serving and little things like this and whatever else. So I think we may see more companies will
go back to the old way of the glass things. I remember there were glass.
But we're going to see our groceries are going to,
the
cost is going to go up again.
But it might even be an optional thing. There might be ways that, just like the grocery stores don't force you to buy their reusable bags, you can bring your own from home. More and more stores are going to say you can bring your own containers in, right? So there's going to be more of that, which is fine. But there's going to be a little bit more. I remember on the manufacturing side, I think back on these drinking glasses that my grandmother had, and probably some other grandmothers had, so remember these. They were like clear glasses, but they had, they were kind of short, they always gave them to the kids.
Yes.
But they had like spades.
I was just going to say the little cards.
Yes,
I had those.
But they came with something, after there's a gas station, but they used to come with something in them with a lid on it.
Oh.
So again, like you were saying, it came with something else in it, and they would take the lid and they were using them as drinking glasses.
That's interesting.
I know. So now you think about all these, and that was the way it was, is that they had all of these jars and anchor hawking things, but there was a lot of glass and stuff that was being used as a basis for stuff. It was glass
I think it's going to be a boon for these home companies like Tupperware and 31, where this is what they specialize, is in like reusable packaging and bags and things to carry things. You're going to see Tupperware parties going to become more prevalent again because we're not having as much of the single use, and we need these solutions.
Have you ever taken a look around your local grocery store just to see how much single-use plastic there is, or plastic wrappings? Everywhere from the bulk section with containers and bags, your produce bags, bottled water, freezies for the kids, not to mention all of those snacks that you have to put in their lunches. Everything is individually wrapped, and sometimes there's even wrappings inside the wrappings, and they are stacked in other things that are wrapped in plastic. It's going to be difficult, but it'll be an interesting challenge to see if Canada can be one of the first countries to go completely plastic free by 2021. Well, one of the things I'm concerned about has to do with takeout. So because we are a society that is cocooning, we are spending more and more time at home, and where everyone's busy, everyone's ordering in more. So the company is, all the businesses, so a local business was actually posting on Facebook, Cedar Nest, was asking for suggestions and things on what you would like to see. They were asking the public that eventually if they have to go plastic free and they get a lot of takeout there. She said, would you like to see us implement by whatever? And one of the suggestions, it was all the usual stuff, like I can bring my own mug from home for my coffee, blah, 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 that kind of thing. And she said they already offer a discount of 10% for people who bring their own. Oh. I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah, Starbucks, if you bring one of their cups in, they give you like 10 cents off or something.
Yeah, okay. So I said those are going to be easy wins to do. But there are still going to be people who are going to insist, just for the same reason that as much as they had the paper and plastic, people are still going to insist they prefer plastic or whatever.
Right.
But there are some dishes and some things that's difficult, like that leftover pasta I brought with all the oil and
sauce. We're going to see foil come back again, I think.
I was just going to mention something.
Foil, because Chinese food comes in the foil with the paper cardboard top.
Yeah. Right. I have also, there's a little restaurant, and a shout out to them. It's down past Sunbridge, I believe, on the West Nipissing area. It's called Danny's Just a Pasta.
Oh, I know exactly where it is.
It didn't matter what you ordered, it's basically pasta. It comes in, they make swans out of tin foil. Yep. And you come home, depending on, it might be this big or it might be this big, but all of your takeout is your pasta's in one, your salad's in another, your food is, so they separate the different kinds, but it's all done in a swan.
You have to carry all those damn birds.
Yeah, you have to carry the birds.
But then is foil solving the problem? Because foil is recycled as well too. It's not biodegradable.
No, but I guess I agree, but I guess then if you look at it, I don't know.
I like the idea of the foil containers though.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting about those. That would be a good alternative. So foil containers would be a good one. I found this really cool website called Anya Life. I'm going to put the link to it. So it all has to do about being reusable. But there was a good section, and there's some great tips on the link that'll talk about hard parts about being plastic free, how to decide if you can do this being for your budget, right? Common myths that are out there. so myth number 1, you have to throw out all your old plastic. He said you don't have to replace them all immediately. Just don't buy new plastic. So that's a good stepping stone, right? And then, which is easy way.
I think I'm gonna go buy all my
You're gonna buy it
Ziplocs
all
now.
And
Sorry.
then there's a list of different links for finding plastic-free and eco-friendly products. I did see on that same Facebook thread about, I know that through Skip the Dishes, I saw a lot of them when I've been browsing. I don't order through that a lot, but sometimes it's just a see who's open and who's got what.
I love Skip the Dishes.
And I'm going through it and I'm looking and I said, there was always cutlery and stuff was added. And I guess one of our local restaurants lists what the price is for the takeout container.
Oh, interesting.
And I thought, interesting. You want takeout? You should pay for it.
all of
Right?
it.
And you should be adding it into your product. And it was one of those things that was hard for me as a caterer, because people didn't realize that you wanted, right? They wanted the napkin roll-ups with the cutlery. They wanted this. They wanted extra napkins. They wanted extra tongs. They
there's a
want
cost
this.
to
They
this.
want this. And then they want the tray with the lid. Can you give me an extra lid in case that one? Like the amount of stuff that I was bringing for like one tray of sandwiches and a salad or something was crazy. And it used to kill me to see how much plastic. But I tried all these eco-friendly incentives. I even tried it for a little while where we were offering discounts for anyone who wanted to return their trays to me. Right. Because those catering trays, some people got icked out at me. They were like, "Ew, you're going to reuse them? What if I get a used one?"
You could put them in the dishwasher and everything, like the bigger ones.
They get sanitized. You think I'm not giving it to you back used as well, but I mean, you can wash it. I have a sanitizing spray. It would go through the same process. I would probably only use it twice, but at least it's getting a second life.
Yeah.
And I was giving you a credit for your next order.
Yeah.
Right.
Not one person that season
Yeah.
even took it up on it. Not one. Out of all the clients, they all wanted brand new stuff every single time.
Okay, so they wanted brand new stuff, but the thing is at the end of the day, it's sort of like if you just give me back the ones that you had.
I wonder,
get
if
the
it's, I wonder if
discount.
it's more of I'm just going to devil's advocate for a second on that one, is there's so much stuff after you have a party that you have to return. It's one more thing that you have to arrange, like, because they would have had to drop it off to you somewhere.
No, but if for offices, because I did mostly corporate catering at the time, so for offices, I didn't know when they were going to order again. I would always just say, put it aside, and when you
got it.
when you order for me the next time,
And I'll pick it up.
Yeah,
Oh,
drop
okay.
off your next
Right.
order, pick up the next
That's
one,
cool.
and give you a credit
You
for
could
your
even
next
be
order.
using it for your personal use, right?
There was
when you get
there was
home,
one
right? Like,
organization I was delivering 2 to 3 times a month for,
Right.
right?
there's a lot of trays.
And not one time.
Interesting.
Not
In
one
a-
time.
in a business
not
like
even
that-
a set of tongs. Remember me and my tongs.
Your
In a business
tongs.
like that, we probably would have taken it, because I used to do a lot of catering, or order a lot of catering when I was a office manager for one of the organizations, and we did a lot of catering, and I would have totally put it aside and had them pick it up the next time.
And I thought, it's one thing if they were reusing them, but it didn't look like it. I think some of the ladies in the offices were just taking them home for themselves.
Right, that's what I was
right,
going
as
to
opposed
say.
to.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so they're getting reused, but
they are.
But one of the things they were also talking about is that there was a link that somebody put in the thread that there are some, not just biodegradable, but plant-based alternatives that look like plastic.
I
including
have
straws.
seen some of those.
Because one of the big controversies has to do with the fact that there's one group of individuals that have the most difficult time getting away from plastic straws, and there's people with disabilities.
Yes, I
Right?
agree. That one is
people,
huge.
seniors in seniors' homes. You
Again,
need
if
to be
they're
able to-
melting in your friggin' cup, like,
No, but
it's
you also
gonna cause
need,
an
you need
issue.
to have the bend and not because the
like
straw's
look at
soggy.
yours right now. Like,
I know,
can
but
you
it still
imagine?
works.
No, but I'm like, if we're talking about, again, for someone so say when you're in the hospital, for
Texture's not
example, when you're in the hospital and
You're lying down.
you only have access to like the straw and your water, and it sits there all day because
Yep.
you're sipping it throughout the day. That's been in there not even an hour, and your straw is disintegrated. So for someone in that kind of an environment, but I have seen the plant-based one. I'd like to look into the cost of them and
Yeah,
bringing them in. And
yeah,
that
might
kind
as
of
well,
thing.
because you can't use. You're not going to use stainless steel straws and clean them in the hospital.
Well, no, and they're not adaptable, because that's the key, is having
Is
them
that being able
adaptable,
to be
because
And I
you're
guess
like,
And I guess they were also concerned with the fact that they need them soft and nothing hard, because if somebody has seizure, somebody has
Yeah,
a
if it's
tick,
in their mouth.
or anything
dysphagia.
else. Yeah, so
Yeah.
where,
All of
where
those
they can
things.
bite down, they can injure themselves, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that there's.
Yeah.
There was the first group
They
of
would have
people advocates
outraged.
that
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
I agree, because I've gone through that personally. And the thing is, at the end of the day, you do need the bend. Even for children, you'll need the bend if they're there, and if you're holding their glass, it's not. You can't go like this; it'll be all over them. You have to have that bend.
Oh my God, drink boxes.
Oh,
The
there's.
so-
What are they gonna do?
They're not plastic; it's just the straws.
But
know.
they're still gonna.
They just got
So they'll just need to like open
They're
the
gonna have to
Figure
side.
it out.
redesign them. I
They'll
think
need a
the
spout
the
on
little
them.
boxes
Yeah.
are going to have to open up like milk cartons that you
Yeah.
drink from that way. Because all I remember it was like, don't squeeze it. Don't squeeze it.
Yeah.
Don't squeeze it.
We all squeezed it.
Okay,
Just like flying straws.
In all fairness, a lot of times I would pitch the straw and drink it like I'd squeeze it out of the hole into my mouth when I was a kid. So, there's where there's a will,
There's
there's a
ways,
way.
absolutely.
Okay, so on the same website, I'll post the link on it here, but it was really cool. It says the first 10 steps
Hashtag not a rebel.
the first 10 steps that anyone can take towards living a plastic-free life. One was use reusable bags whenever you go shopping. I have a bag full of bags. I told you I use IKEA ones. I have some
Key
cooler
is to remember
bags.
to bring them in. I'll keep them in the car and I'll forget them in the car and
Yes.
go like,
I sometimes
leave them in
forget
the
them at home and I never put them in the
I do.
car.
I leave them in the car, but I never bring them into the store.
I know.
Oh, see,
Because I'm that kind of girl.
And I always forget to remember to bring them back. It takes practice.
Yes.
So I'll bring them in, unload the groceries, and then I put the bags all in one bag, and it's
Yeah.
sitting at the doorway. So then I know, okay, when I'm going back to the store, or this has got to go back to the car, and then I throw it in the back
You're
of my
so
car.
put together, Steph.
Oh, shut up! It's fine, not. Okay, so then identify which products you buy containing plastic. So I challenge you now to go into your cupboard or pantry and look at how many plastic containers are in there. It's stunning. And in your fridge, how many plastic things as opposed to glass jars or anything else. Like the amount of plastic things that are out there right now are crazy. We just got so used to it. And then choose the 3 easiest products that's easiest to replace. So you feel like you're actually doing something. Saying, okay, well, I'm not going to do this with plastic anymore. I'm going to buy this. So if you normally buy those plastic containers of olives in the deli section that have their plastic container with the plastic lid, the prepackaged ones, not the ones that you fill yourself.
Right.
That Norm brought home the other day. He could have got flavored olives and stuff. They have great ones in glass jars. In the other section, right? He just needed to go there instead.
So shout out to all those germaphobes out there who actually like using the pump soaps. I don't know what we're going to do because I'm one of you.
Oh, that would
and
be
you know
silly.
what? It's going to be harsh.
But you know what though? You can get right now, like there's mason jars. You get lids to go on the mason jars that have pumps in them. So like, there's still opportunities out there for sure.
But are they going to be able to repackage the refills? Because that's all plastic container.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing is I think there's
Right,
a lot
it's
of the
just-
responsibility is
What
going to
about
have to
milk
go into
bags?
Right? There's going to be a lot of things that are affected.
Milk bags. That's a big one.
I know,
Yeah.
Sienna, we don't drink a lot of milk, but I'm thinking like yogurt containers. There's so many things that we use a single-use plastic so often. We're just going to have to reuse it. I think it's going to be one of those things. You know how we have either it's going to be a recycling thing or we have to take them back in and there's some kind of incentive for it, or you get penalized for it, or you're paying a deposit and then you get the deposit back if you actually return it. There's going to be
Milk
little
would have to
things.
be-
It's like
that
families who
happens.
have babies. There's a huge thing now where you have to apply to get extra bags into your garbage to have the diaper bag. That in itself is it's still an extra expense, but why should it be? Right? Like it's just there's things that
Oh, it wasn't extra expense, but they just have to do it. It was the effort.
yeah, it's interesting. Very interesting.
So write down why you're making the change. That's I don't like that one. Why you're making the change. People want to vision
That's a
board it.
Norm thing.
Vision
Norm
board
would
it.
need to write down why he's making the change.
You start using a reusable coffee cup. That's fine. So when you're out in the road, so if you get in the habit,
I do a lot of that.
I even have one somewhere in the house that actually looks like the Starbucks cup.
I've got
I
about
use all
10
the
of
time.
them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Start using a reusable drink bottle. We already talked about those. So those are the ones for water and stuff like that. I don't drink a ton of bottled water anymore. It's like one of those things that drive-throughs,
Yes.
right? So
$7.
I'm gonna have to get water in a cup. I don't know how that's gonna work.
They're paper.
they're
Drive-through
gonna-
cups are paper.
Okay, but with what lid? They're gonna have no
Oh
lid.
yeah, that's plastic on the top, eh?
Yeah, so there's gonna have to be some kind of paper lid now. Paper lid with paper straw, which is not a big deal. But
Well,
all those
again, what did
plastic
they
places,
do?
If
Oh,
you
no.
start charging me
They were all
the
plastic.
same drive-through price for tap water in a paper cup.
I'll be upset.
Yeah, like anyways, just telling you, figure that out. And then cut out frozen meals are the big one. Frozen meals are huge
Yeah, we don't buy those at all.
for plastic stuff because it's boxed items with food in plastic inside the boxed items.
With a covered piece of plastic over it.
Yeah. So it's like plastic and plastic and plastic, right? Even your microwave dinners, everything else has got plastic.
Yeah, all those like
Hungry man dinners.
microwave dinners, Hungry Man's, which have all moved away from the foil, are gonna have to go back to foil again.
Yeah.
And they can't go in the microwave; they have to go in the oven.
Yeah. Old school.
Oh, do you remember Jiffy Pop?
Yes.
Jiffy Pop's going to take
That was
gonna go
exciting.
crazy.
If
No,
any of
'cause
you
popcorn
kiddies
comes
out
in
there have
paper.
never had the Jiffy Pop, would
It's
actually
like
watch
in
it.
foil in it.
I know.
It's so awesome.
We do all of our popcorn.
We're gonna have that.
on the stove.
We're gonna have that, Kevin.
Can we?
Yes, we can have Jiffy Pop. It usually always burns on me because you know what the funny thing is? Every time we've gone camping and we go into one of the little close stores or something and they have the Jiffy Pop thing and we're all excited, I always have to remind myself I never see anyone else making them. So those ones have probably been sitting there for 2 years, and that's probably why they burn and they get stale. because a lot
Check
of
the
the other
expiry
people that
date
are
on your
camping
Jiffy
have
Pop.
the big campers and they have electricity, so they got a microwave and they're doing the standard stuff, or they're buying the anyways.
That's the one thing I am excited about. For the record, for going camping, like, was when we went camping, we had a trailer. So when we used to have like a trailer at a family property on Fairbanks Lake, we never used the kitchen inside the trailer. We never had it
you
plugged
cooked
in.
outside all the time.
We never used it.
Cold
We had a camp stove.
Oh, very
and
cool.
we had a barbecue.
Yep.
And we did all of our, and I do love, like, I'm excited for the food part of it, because I do love to cook outside on the fire and try things like that. And that is like my least concern for camping, because I really do enjoy that part of it. It's just the sleeping in a tent with the bugs.
Well, we just gonna make sure that you drink enough and then you won't notice it.
Yeah.
Bar soap is going to be the issue.
I know. For
Why
me,
bar
it will
soap?
be.
It comes in paper.
No, but bar soap
No, but
instead of hand
versus-
soap.
Because
the
I have
liquid hand
I
soap.
don't know. It's even in the
Reusable
shower.
dispensers.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
in the shower. Like all those soaps.
The body
those
wash, and
squeezes.
everything else.
Shampoo and
So
conditioner.
I've been noticing. Well, I've been noticing a lot
They're gonna go
of
into they're gonna go
the
glass.
Airbnbs I've gone to lately. They
Yeah.
have those
dispensers on the wall.
that
Yeah.
are built into the wall, and I think they're kind of handy aside from the fact when they put really cheap stuff in
Oh, it's
them.
always
tell.
crap in them.
Yes, when I have to use like a half a thing to get through my
Yeah.
hair.
Hey, wait, it's the same color as
handful?
the hand soap.
I'm gonna shout out to
know,
Aloft. Aloft. There's a chain that goes along with Aloft. They've got really great shampoo, conditioner, and
really?
like their hand cream. I always grab a couple extra and keep in my purse.
Oh, yeah.
Aloft has really great. So it's a hotel chain that's worldwide.
Hotel toiletries.
That's the thing.
Well, it'll all have to be on the wall.
Oh, so no take-home stuff. So if you want any souvenirs, take them now. And then the last one has to do. It was a kind of a lame suggestion, but join a community of like-minded individuals.
Oh.
So if you're, you don't need to join a support group. If you,
You can hear me. Sorry.
if you are, and then there's other tips on here about how to minimize plastic in the most important areas of life. About like for shopping, about buying fresh bread with a bread bag, paper bread bag, as opposed to using the plastic ones, and all that kind of stuff. Growing your own produce. But I mean, produce isn't an issue. Again, we already talked about that.
There's a place that's opened in Sudbury recently. I can't think of where it is, and I could probably find it on Google. But they're offering like shampoo refills and conditioner refills and that kind of stuff
Oh, I
in
heard
their
about
shop. Yeah, so we might see like a whole new like cottage industry
Yep.
come up with being able to offer those reusables. So again, you can still buy the glass like pumps and all that kind of stuff, or have the dispensers on your wall, because we can't buy our shampoo in our single-use plastics. But that's already existing.
very
Like
cool.
that's in there, and we're seeing our as much as we tease our 20-year-old hipster millennial folks, a lot of them are doing this kind of stuff already.
They are.
But like I just look at like the bigger implications of like when you look at say shampoo and conditioner, like
How?
like
How?
I mean we're going back to like this predates even my parents had plastic shampoo and conditioner.
You get shampoo bars.
Yeah, but so what happens? So this is just happening in Canada.
Oh my
so,
god! Just the entire beauty industry is going to go.
But that's what like when I look at that industry
Go
alone.
nuts.
Forget food. Food, I think we can cope, but like
But I
the
think that.
beauty industry,
No
that's a whole
mascara.
other thing.
But that's all the thing is. I think that they
Eyeliner.
were talking about these single-use things.
Yeah, no.
Lipsticks.
No, and I
Let's
think
be realistic. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's
I
gonna happen
don't
full
think it's
on.
going to go that far. For the same reason, I just don't want people to panic. So for the same reason that they're not going to eliminate every single use of plastic, it's the things that are so quick and easy to throw away.
So like straws and bags and stuff.
Yeah, which are the things that are clogging up the oceans, right, and hurting the animal. That's part of the issue.
It's the
So
turtles.
I just don't want you to
Let's
blow
get
this.
rid of those little rings that go on cans, but then the damn paper.
Oh, I know. And the straws and the turtles.
Yeah,
I
you just
know.
don't want things to go so hairy, scary, and everyone get panicked, and that it's going to be taking away everything out of your life. It's not going to. I think it's meant to get us in trying to train new habits so that we're not reusing those same things all the time. That's all it's going to be.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think they're going to ban all single use.
For the same reason that for down in the States, when everyone says like the Green New Deal is basically we're going to get rid of cows. Nobody's getting rid of cows.
What?
they
Cows?
fart too much. They
Yes.
add to the ozone.
And
of
this,
their
like,
bodies.
everyone likes to just.
Good
I
Lord.
mean, they're not getting rid of cows. It's
We'll be
just
getting
this-
rid of people soon if they fart too much too.
Yeah, I've
Sorry,
seen,
husband,
I've seen some
bye,
people
Mark.
eat. Oh, that was a good way to close the show.
And there
We're
goes
gonna-
the
don't
big
forget-
Let's
industry.
close on farts.
And in the meantime,
Okay.
don't forget to help me
No, I have to help you. You can do it.
subscribe to our iPodcast And all of our other guys. Follow our YouTube channel.
Yay!
And subscribe and like and share. We like it all.
Close enough. Anyways, if you have any plastic-free lifestyle tips and stuff that you'd like to share, please send them along. And in the meantime, I challenge you, and I'm going to try it this week, and we should all try it this week. Let's try to, not saying that we're going to eliminate plastic out of our life, let's try and see how many days we can go along without buying something with plastic.
Okay.
I'm in.
You're in?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We'll share with you on social media. And see
Can I
how we
still
did.
use my plastic straws? I just can't buy new ones.
You're gonna hide that. No, you're gonna have to suffer. You're gonna have to drink out of the glass like the rest of us.
Yes.
Yeah, we use my same straw for the next week.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.